We are going to be beginning our 32 NFL team preview, starting off with the Detroit Lions. This is Banks's sleeper team for the 2022 season.
Yep.
Personally, I'm not very high on them if we're being honest with each other, just going over their roster. But I wanted to go ahead and start off Banks with the 2021 season. First time head coach Dan Campbell leading the Detroit Lions to a 3-13-1 record in his first year.
That record is iffy. I just wanted to be known because we were talking about it prior to the show going, but I just wanted to be known and thrown out there that that record does not indicate the level of play that Detroit exhibited all year. This, in my honest opinion, this is a team that's more than capable. They might have to fix a few, and they may have to upgrade some talent, which they definitely did very well in this past draft in the 2022 NFL draft. They had one of the best besides the New York Jets. People are raving about the Detroit Lions draft acquisitions that they made. They didn't really get a lot of big free agent signings, and I think that's good. Honestly, I don't think that they really need to go after any big names. They have a fairly young roster. I don't think anybody on that team is. They don't have that many players that are over the age of 30. When you go and look at the actual roster and the age of each player, they have a really young, promising team. Two really good running backs. The quarterback position is probably the most area of concern. I mean, but even Jared Goff played fairly well last year. In the defense, of course, positions which I know we're going to go over shortly, but the linebacker position, I'm high on the Detroit Lions. I know that some people might. I was high on them last year during our the regular season when we were giving our betting spreads. Detroit actually covered a lot of spreads last year, so this is a team that's more than capable, bro.
Right. So I guess the first things first, we're gonna go ahead and go over the most important position on the football team, and that's that transition from the Los Angeles Rams with Jared Goff coming over his first year with the Detroit Lions. Obviously, you already knew I wasn't very high on Jared Goff prior to him coming to the Detroit Lions, but put up a fairly decent season. Looking at the options that he had to throw to during the 2021 season, completed 67% of his passes, 19 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions.
Not
Definitely,
bad.
yeah, it's not bad, and definitely the pass protection was an issue for the Detroit Lions last year. I believe they were like 30th in the league as far as pressure percentage. But considering the fact that the Detroit Lions went in free agency, they gotten DJ Chark from the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're having the second year receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's coming in last
I
year,
like him.
2021. He had 90 catches, over 900 yards receiving. The sophomore year should be extremely promising. And then, of course, in the first round, they traded back into the first round and ended up grabbing the Alabama receiver. Man, that just went blank on me just now. Jameson, goodness gracious, Jameson. You know who he is, Jameson. What's his name? Jameson.
Yeah, Jamison Williams, the
Thank
receiver
you,
from Alabama.
thank you. The receiver from Alabama, Jameson Williams. So, considering last year, 2021, Deandre Swift was their second leading receiver. 2022, they're going to have some serious weapons at the wide receiver position, and let's not forget about T.J. Hawkinson coming back. He was dealing with some injuries.
Probably the best, one of the up and coming top. He's probably going to be voted top three, top five tight end when they do that NFL top 100. He's going to be on there. He's probably going to be maybe the fifth or fourth best tight end in the NFL.
Yes,
He had a really good season.
yes, for sure. Like I remember 2021, like in the first 5 or 6 games, Hawkinson was playing like the best tight end in football. So
And then that's the security blanket for Jared Goff, which probably explains when you think about the situation with the Rams, just to kind of go back to that just for a quick second, the Rams didn't really offer him I mean, we did have Gerald Everett for the most part and Tyler Higbee, but we talking about two guys that battled through injuries, especially Gerald Everett. He could. That's why the Rams didn't hold on to him because he had issues with health. And then more recently, over the last few years, 2 years or so, with Tyler Higbee, he hasn't been able to stay healthy. So I think having that security blanket in that tight end spot, a person that can, as they say, can control the middle of the field. And he's not just a middle of the field guy. They line him up in the slot sometimes. They line him up on the outside. This guy goes out there and dominates, bro. Like, I was actually watching some film on him. His kid is serious. Like, he is legit. He can block very well. He can, he can go up and catch balls at the high point. He can get in the middle of the field. He can run almost every route. I've seen him run post routes. I've seen him run curls, slants, outs, digs. I mean, you name it. Like, Detroit has some weapons, bro.
I'm not doubting the fact that Detroit has some weapons. I wanted to take this back to their rushing attack because I believe they were 10th in the league in rushing last year, which is kind of unheard of for the Detroit Lions because they really
had one of the best offensive leagues in the league. Offensive lines in the league.
Excuse me, 19th. They were 19th in rushing. I'm sorry. With Deandre Swift, Godwin Igwe, I can never pronounce his name, and Jameer Jefferson. But I feel like that's going to be the key to the Detroit Lions' success is their rushing attack. I strongly believe if you can't run the football, you're not going to win football games and control the clock. So,
and that's when Jared Goff has been his best too, in terms of his career, when he's had a good, decent running back to be able to hand that ball off to take off some of the pressure. And that's just for any quarterback, especially young guys that they've kind of proven that they can't go out there and win it on their arms, just making decisions and stuff. You need, like I said, another that having a good, decent running game. That's another security blanket for them. So, yeah, I definitely agree with you on that.
Right. So I'm looking at the Detroit Lions offensive line as far as like they're a very, very solid group where you have Taylor Decker, Jonah Williams, Frank Ragnow, which he's probably a top 5 center in the league. And I'm not even.
You mean Jonah Jackson?
No. Frank Ragnow.
They got Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson is the left guard, Frank Ragnow, and Vaitai. I'm not even going to try that last name.
Big V. Woo! That's what everybody calls him, Big V.
Okay, Big V. They got Big V, and they got one of the up and coming best right tackle in football soon, Panay Sewell. So yeah. So that's a good offensive line.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to them improving in their pass protection, considering they was in the bottom half as far as protecting the quarterback, and hopefully they can continue off their success running the football, going higher in the rankings. But Deandre Swift, honestly, I feel like that's a no-brainer. He's going to be the starter, and then Jamal Williams is going to be the complement, and then everyone else is just going to be sprinkled in there here and there. I know a lot of folks, they have a lot of confidence in Godwin Igwe, but I just feel like this running back room for the Lions is a little bit too deep for him to actually get some get some light. So
and Deandre Swift was just fantastic even in college. He's translated very well so far in the NFL too. Like you saw the bright side of him. He's a baller. Like it's going to be hard to win over that spot over him, especially because he's a good running back. So
yes.
He may get some playing time considering Jamal Williams went down a little bit too for a couple games, and he got some snaps in at the running back spot too. In fact, DeAndre Swift as well. They may do it by committee too sometimes. They can make it. There's nothing wrong with having three guys that can run the rock a little bit. He may not get as much carry as the other two guys, but I'm sure they're gonna. Because right now they're carrying 4 running backs on the roster. Actually, 5 running backs on their roster. Because when you count Jermar Jefferson, that's 5 running backs. So, right. Of course, we know right now the depth chart is pretty stacked because teams can do it right now because preseason and everything, they want to start cutting the rosters down, as they go along. But still,
it'll be 3.
Right? Yeah, it'll be 3. Which I think those 3 would be the guys.
Which three? We talking about Williams,
Williams, Swift, and I'm going to say Godwin are probably going to be the three. And they may carry one additional guy in terms of, practice squad.
Godwin, Ikwe.
See, you good with those pronunciations of those. I can say Antetokounmpo very well, but I can't say I can say that.
Come on, man. You gotta get in touch with your African
heritage. Yeah, listen, bro. Oh, wow. It was so playing.
All right, so now looking on the defensive side of the football, I feel like that's going to probably need the most work. They ended up signing back Charles Harris, who honestly, in my opinion, I know very well since that was the Dolphins 2016.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Wasn't he a former Dolphins player?
2016 second round pick. Mm-hmm. So that experiment didn't pan out too well. So to hear that he
working in Detroit.
Yeah, to hear that he led the team in pressures is very, very surprising to me. And they actually brought him back for 2022. And obviously them improving that pass rush by adding Aiden Hutchison the second overall pick in the 2022 draft is definitely going to help them too as well. And if you can't put pressure on the quarterback, you ain't gonna be winning games. So
not especially out of this league with the passing attack being so potent. You gotta have somebody that can go after. You need at least 2 or 3 guys to go after the quarterback religiously, especially with them running a 4-3 defense. That means they're going to be dropping a lot. The linebackers are going to be playing coverage a lot, so they're not expecting the linebackers to go after that. They may occasionally throw a blitz or 2 in there with the linebackers going to extend pressure, depending on if there's a game where Aiden is not able to get in or Charles is not able to make pressure. They'll probably send one or 2 guys in there every now and then. But the basis of a 4-3 defense is for those edge rushers, those pass rushers, because they're not edge rushers. I'm sorry, those pass rushers to be able to get consistent pressure without having to sacrifice coverage. It's the pressure is needed to assist the coverage, if you know what I mean. We're looking to try to get after the quarterback to force errant throws into coverage and create some turnovers. And I think that they're going to be all right. And they got some depth at those 2 positions too. When you think about it, they got Romeo Okwara, which is he's I hear some good things about him. And then in the other position, they got Julian Okwara,
the twins.
The twins. So they got twin powers on the defensive line. Hopefully they can come in when they have those. Maybe they could do something more line where they can, have a speed rush package like a NASCAR, where it's basically 4 defensive linemen that are really good at rushing. They have the twins, and they have Aiden Hutchison along with Charles Harris rush the quarterback. I mean, that wouldn't be far fetched. It's something, you know what I'm saying? Not bad on those 3rd and longs, or those, you know what I mean? You can, just send the dogs,
Right. I wanted to look at the defensive tackle position because we're moving your boy Michael Brockers back to his natural position at the defensive tackle spot. And then in last year's draft, the Detroit Lions drafted. Now this one is going to be tough for me to pronounce here. That was Levi Onozuruki. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry if I pronounced that.
Sorry, bro. What's the Detroit names, man? What's going on with that name, man?
Like that's gonna be a hard.
Wait till we get to the cornerbacks. Oh my god. Yeah, we got to the cornerbacks. Man, what's going on in Detroit?
So that I'm looking at the pass rush is definitely going to be a big improvement from last year. Well, you have no choice but to improve. You were sitting the bottom 3. Like I'm expecting it to be at least in the top 20, maybe this year.
Maybe it would be a stretch considering they just brought in one of the best defensive players in the draft this year. People are very high on Aiden Hutchison. They're very high. They're looking at him to come in and be like the Bosa brothers, where it's immediate impact. And when you look at him on film, when you look at him in the draft, and even when he was back in Michigan, if you followed him for the most part, it seemed like it was never not a down where Aiden Hutchison was not creating pressure. Like it just seemed like he was unblockable. But
Right.
again, considering how great that Michigan defense is, it's not like Michigan's defense. Michigan is going to always have a stout defense year in and year out. So I'm just hoping that it wasn't one of those situations where he was just a product of a great scheme led by a very good defense. And you know what I mean? And then you got to get to a team. Because when you get drafted in these spots, man, you're not going to great teams. Like, you know what I mean? These teams are rebuilding teams that are looking to, make some noise. I truthfully feel that Detroit has the perfect opportunity to flip their franchise more quickly than the other teams that are not so good, like the Jets. They have the great opportunity of being like Jacksonville was a few years ago, where no one seen them coming, and boom, here they are, 10-5 or something like that, or 11-4 coming into the playoffs. You're like, wait, Detroit won 11 games? What? With Jared Goff at quarterback, can you believe? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's possible. And the NFC North has regressed a bit, and there's a lot of question marks. And we're going to go over that as we could go along, as we count down the rest of the teams. And I'm sure we're going to go over that. We'll talk a lot about the Green Bay Packers and what they lost, and Minnesota having a new coaching regime there, and the Chicago Bears with all their question marks. I mean, if you win your division, you're in. So, who knows?
Right. So I'm the defensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions is Aaron Glenn. He came
Right?
he came over with Dan Campbell from the New Orleans Saints. But what
Mhm.
Aaron Glenn is trying to implement is tough physical corners on the boundary, and they want to play
Mhm.
man to man. So
Mhm.
considering the fact there was a lot of injuries on the Detroit Lions last year, um, obviously Jeff Okuda was out for the season. I believe he had like a knee injury or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
Yes. Sir.
so this year coming in, we're looking at the starting secondary for the Detroit Lions. I'm gonna go ahead and
What
let you.
names?
I'm gonna go ahead and let
Nah,
you
bro.
lead off.
Don't even try to put me on the spot, bro. I can't, man. Look, you were doing fantastic doing the name pronunciations, bro. So I think it would be best for you to.
Okay. All right. So obviously we got Jeff Okuda. He's coming back. There's a little bit of a question mark there.
Mhm.
Considering the fact he had a season-ending injury.
Right,
At the strong
but I'm
safety
sure.
position. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, he has what it takes. Jeff Okuda he was that boy at Ohio State. So they got some they got a good receiver, a good cornerback that can play, and he can get up in your chest too.
Right. So okay. So now at the free safety position, excuse me, strong safety position, you have Deshaun Elliott. I believe they added him through free agency, and
Yeah,
then
through Baltimore.
of course Tracy Walker, who has showed improvement uh
Mhm.
this year. I believe the Pro Football Focus had him rated like 83.3
Yeah,
in coverage. So
yeah.
that trend is going to continue to grow. And then of course
Mhm.
at the right cornerback position we have Amani Owuwari. I'm sorry if I
Oh, see what I'm
mispronounced
saying, boy? That
that.
no, I'm looking at the spelling of the name, and I would not have said that. That was great. That was great, man. That was great. Now I want to see you got to get the other guy because there's a battle going on at the nickel corner spot. So I'm gonna let you try that other guy's name. Let's see if you can because this one is woo. There's a lot of letters, bro.
Oh, are we talking about if Ifatu Malfunu?
See, mine would have been Melifono. Man, I can't do it, bro. I'm sorry, and I listen. I don't mean to butcher anybody's name with respect to their families and everything. I can't pronounce that. So it's going to be iffy to me. He's going to be Melly or Ife to me. Whatever that's going to be for me.
When you got players on your team named Noah Igbenogany, you start pronouncing.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The Dolphins do got that. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, when you got players like that, you start to Google some stuff and start getting some production.
How long did it take you to perfect Noah Igbenogany's name? Was it immediate? Like, okay, I got it, or was it like Noah Igbenogany? You know what I mean?
I still can't even pronounce Tua's last name.
Nobody can. You see what I'm saying? Where are you getting these guys from?
Like people try to correct me all the time in the comment section. You can't even say Tua's last name. Okay, well, I'm just gonna say
Tua Tagovailoa, right? Tua Tagovailoa, right? If I'm not, I think that's how they pronounce it. Tagovailoa.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
I say
Tua
Tagovailoa, but
listen, you got to be very cautious with these Dolphins fans, these Tua fans, but you know how they get sensitive about everything Tua related. So let's pump the brakes on them. We'll get to them.
Yeah, for sure. We're just gonna keep it at Tua for moving forward.
Yeah, Tua.
But question marks at the cornerback in the secondary position, if we're being honest with each other. But Aaron Glenn, I believe in Aaron Glenn.
Like, what's your expectation, man? Yo, tell me, what are you expecting from the secondary? Are you expecting? Because again, we talked about the defensive line position. We talked about the possibility and what the expectation. You're big on Charles Harris, right? You think Charles Harris?
Well, I'm not big on Charles Harris. I am.
So what's your?
Okay, so
with letting pressures, let's turn those pressures into sacks.
Hey,
I mean.
I'm sorry. I'm going to be watching the Lions, and mostly I'm going to be watching Charles Harris. But I'm sorry. Okay, so if we're just looking at the cornerback position, that defensive line is just a little up in flux for me. Amani Awuawari had led the team in 6 interceptions. That's promising for the Detroit Lions, but outside of that, if we being honest,
he had a pretty good season.
He had a pretty good season. Everything else is a little questionable for me.
Mm-hmm. I mean, but you understand what I'm saying? I mean, they're projecting Mike Hughes as the nickel cornerback right now. So right now, the cornerback is Jeff Okudah as CB1, Amani is CB2, and Mike Hughes is projected as the slot corner spot. I wouldn't be surprised to see Okudah line up in the slot sometimes too, because he played a little bit of that in college. Or Amani lines up in the slot sometimes. They have flexibility. They have interchangeable pieces. And considering the fact that you got Tracy Walker, who, as you mentioned, Pro Football Focus has him rated around that 80-ish threshold, which is pretty fair, pretty good. And then you add a Deshaun Elliott, who was a starter for Baltimore, and he did pretty good in his position. I know Madden always was big on him. They always had him rated in the high 80s every year. So he definitely can, I mean, we talking about Madden here, but still, he's somebody that can hold it down or hold the fort down. Detroit has made upgrades everywhere for that, and they address every position of need, especially. And I just want to take a quick trip down the draft class just really quick. The first 2 picks of the draft, they addressed the edge rush with Aiden Hutchison, pick 1, pick 2, and then immediately at pick 12 they jumped back and went to another area of need by drafting Jameson Williams for Alabama, which he is a freaking rocket. I'm talking about the guy can freaking jet. That's a vertical. We know Jared Goff can throw the ball deep with no question. He can get the ball down the field. So there's your deep threat now. Then you add another edge rusher in the second pick in the 46th pick of the draft in round 2. You add Josh Pascal from Kentucky, which that's another good addition.
That's a little questionable because they felt
Josh?
It was a little bit of a reach. Yeah,
I mean, but we're talking around the 46th overall pick. I don't recall what was available to them at that time, but we're talking about 46 picking the draft. Like you're damn near in the third round in most cases. Well, not necessarily, but you're still, man. What else could they have dressed there? They know that they need people to help them rush the passing. So to me, I look at it as a plus because they addressed the need. I mean, it might not have been another, like I said, another pass rusher because you just drafted Aiden Hutchison in the first round, but still, it doesn't. You can never have too many pass rushers. Like you can't. There's nothing negative to that. I think that's a positive all day, especially if he can remain healthy and stay on the field and help contribute. Then they drafted safety Kirby Joseph from Illinois, which I know personally is another pretty good, solid pick. I mean, he's probably one of those work in progress type guys. And then they didn't have a fifth pick in the draft. Round 5 they took tight end James Mitchell from Virginia Tech. Sixth round they had 2 picks in the sixth round. They had Malcolm Rodriguez from Oklahoma State. They drafted another edge pass rusher in the sixth round from Jackson State named James Houston. And the round 7 they picked up a guy named Chase Lucas, which those guys are probably going to be in there fighting for roster spots. They probably make the practice squad or whatever the case may be. So they add some pretty decent names from good football programs. Like when I look at the programs of these guys, especially the first 3 or 4 picks, you got from Illinois, you got from Kentucky, who had a great season last year. Kentucky had a great season, especially defensively. They were locking people up. And then you got Jamison Williams from Alabama, which we know what Alabama does. And then you got Michigan for Aiden Hutchison. So it's good football college programs. And they got good players from. So I think Detroit's going to do well, bro.
Okay, so Judgment Day time. What are we projecting their record to be in 2022?
All right. I kind of want to know what you think first, because I'm seeing the impression, the body language. I don't sense the excitement like how I'm. The viewers are going to be when they go back and they watch this, they're going to say, "Man, that guy Banks, man, the Detroit Lions fans are going to be like, that guy Banks believes in us, bro." They're going to see this guy in his red shirt. They're going to be like, the other guy, man, he didn't seem that excited. So what's up? I mean, what do you think? Like, what I want to hear what you think that record's going to be.
Okay, I'm just glancing over their schedule right now.
Oh my god! You ain't showing Detroit no love, bro. This is crazy, bro. This is crazy.
I'll tell you what, they'll get 5 wins.
5?
Yeah, the minimum 5.
Bro, just okay. Now I gotta attack you. Now I gotta pit bull. Just the first few weeks alone. Okay, this is the first.
You're not beating Philly.
No. Don't do it. Week 1, they got Philly. That's a winnable game. Okay, they got Philly, and they're playing at home in Detroit. Okay, the following week they got another home game where they're hosting the Washington Commanders. I want to say the Redskins so bad, but I can't. They're hosting the Commanders. That's a winnable game. The very next week, you got a division rival game. You got Minnesota, a team that you're accustomed to playing twice a year. That's a possibility of winning the game. Then you got the Seattle Seahawks, who nobody's big on this year. That's another game that's winnable. And then you go down to right before that bye week, you got New England at New England and Gillette. I don't think they're going to win that game because you're in New England, you're in Foxborough. I don't feel like they're going to come out of that. You know what I mean? So I'm looking at 4 possible W's right there, brother. And so you mean to tell me they're gonna fall off the rest of the season? Immediately after their bye week, they play Dallas, which they're probably not gonna beat Dallas. All right, they're not gonna beat Dallas. The juggler here is the October game, which is kind of weird that they're playing Dallas in October because normally that's the Thanksgiving game.
Right.
That's weird. They're playing Dallas in October. That's definitely different. But okay. Then the following week after Dallas, they're back at home against the Miami Dolphins. And again, this is the Dolphins we're still up in the air about. And I know we're going to get there soon. You don't even think that the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs this year. But again, we're going to get there.
But they're better than the Lions, though.
Okay, but when it comes to our picks during the season, when we go to talking about the spread, because that again, when we make our picks this year, as we've been doing the last few weeks, by the way, shout out to Bet US as well as shout out to Bet Now. You guys don't forget to lock in with us and sign up. I forgot how the promotion goes, but we'll drop details in the description as in terms of the promos and everything like that too. But we base our picks off the spreads. So you never know. Then you got another familiar team. You got the Chicago Bears, but you're in Chicago. Then you got the New York Giants, which another winnable game. Buffalo, cancel it. They're not winning that.
You get your beat in that.
Yeah, you get your ass. They're gonna get their ass kicked that game. Most likely, they're gonna get their ass kicked. Then you got Jacksonville, so that's a good moral. They probably get blown out by Buffalo, and then the very next week you play Jacksonville. You play Jacksonville, so. And I know you're big on Jacksonville this year. I think you got Jacksonville high up the board. You think Jacksonville is going to be a lot better. Then you got Minnesota, the New York Jets, another winnable game, the Carolina Panthers, Chicago Bears, and the finale of the season is the Green Bay Packers. Detroit, based on what I have here, I see Detroit. I see Detroit in the playoffs. I see Detroit in the playoffs in the wild card. Quote me, step me here, snip this, because I know how y'all do behind the scenes. I'll try to say, oh no, he never said that. Quote me here. I think Detroit's making the playoffs this year.
5 wins.
If Jared Goff can play like he played last year, give you 5+ more touchdowns and 4 less interceptions, the running game can show up. The defense, plays much better, gets after the quarterback, get those pressures. The secondary can stay healthy with Jeff Okudah to see how he looks. We talk about a good side. The biggest hole that I have for Detroit is the quarterback position because it's Jared Goff. You just got to have a question mark there. You just got to. And you talk about and you got the linebacker position, which I'm not big on the guy Anzalone. I'm not really big on him. He's a Florida Gator. I don't care about the Gators, so it is what it is. So I think that's an upgrade at that spot. Definitely, if you're a Florida Gator starting linebacker, you need to be it's an upgrade there. So I think Detroit's going to make the playoffs. Wild card. No, okay. Wild card.
So this is just something that's been bothering me with this whole Dan Campbell situation. I feel like his coaching style is not built for longevity. I feel like mentally it could be strenuous on the players as far as his style, and at some point they're going to sputter out in the 2022 season.
But I mean, listen, that's not a bad guess. I just see, like I said, when you look at the body of work from 2021, because we can just go by the body of work. No, it wasn't impressive. They only won 3 games, but what I like that I see when I look at these scores, I look at these games, and we had Detroit helped us cover a lot of spreads last year. They did. They won me a couple dollars. You know what I mean?
Lost me a couple dollars.
Well, that's you. They don't see because you talking shit. If you wasn't talking shit about maybe if you got on the side with me, because I was on record a lot supporting Detroit. I was on the record a lot. I'm high on Detroit, but no, like I said, you just can't walk away and ignore, the games last year. They lost some very, very close games. Just a second while I pull that up. Like I said, they were 3-13-1. They were 2-4 in the NFC North, and they lost a depressing nail-biting game against San Francisco Week 1, 41-33. They lost to Baltimore 19-17. Somehow they lost to the Chicago Bears. I don't know how they lost that game. They lost 24-14, which the Bears were struggling on offense all year long. I don't know how they gave up 24 to Detroit. To Chicago. I'm sorry. Then they lost to Minnesota 19-17. They put up a fight against my Los Angeles Rams, who ended up eventually being the Super Bowl champions. That game got close to the end of the fourth quarter when we were able to just pull away at the end. I know you remember that game because my pressure was probably through the roof. How much I was screaming. Because that game, I was telling y'all the Rams are not going to cover the spread, and I was right. But They won. They lost 21-19 to the Rams. The following week, they got destroyed by Philly. They lost 44-6. That was also the game I was talking crap to Greg, saying it's going to be Detroit's first win, and it wasn't. They got smoked 44-6. I was hurt. And then they had a bye week. The next week they played Pittsburgh and they tied that up, which that's not saying a lot because Pittsburgh is bad, but whatever. Then they lost 13-10 to Cleveland. Then they lost 16-14 to Chicago. They won 29-27 against Minnesota. They lost 20-16 to the Falcons. So they right there. They right there, bro. They're there. If they can just somehow turn those L's into W's, those close games, man. You talk about a playoff team. That's like 5 or 6 games that are really nail biters right there. That could have easily swung in their favor. So
I don't want to reveal any other information because I know we're going to be going over these other teams, but it's neck and neck right now for them being tied for the third best team in the NFC North.
Okay. So you got them neck and neck. So you got them third in the division.
Barely.
In their division, third. Okay. All right. I'm eager to know what other teams you have in front of them besides Green Bay, because the Chicago sucks. Like they're just garbage.
Yeah, you only got 2 other teams, and again, I'm not gonna say anything else because that's gonna ruin the future of the series. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. They're just sitting there,
mid-tier, barely mid-tier.
They sit there like at the bottom of 3. Like,
boy, you are something else. You are something else. Listen, I swear to God, boy, if Detroit ball out this year, we coming back to this video. We coming back. You know how Stephen A. Smith said the Golden State Warriors are going to win it all. Now he's just running around because he's finally right about something. He's running around with his chest all out, and everybody knows Golden State won it like me. That's going to be me when Detroit make the playoffs. Just like
Hey, I'm pretty sure the Detroit fans, they love you for supporting their team, but they need a realist.
Detroit, we here, baby.
I got to keep it 100.
How that song go? It's so cold in the D. Yeah. It's so cold in the D, baby. You turning their way back. That's what I'm talking about. Playoffs. This is the year Detroit makes the playoffs. Book it.
Now,
Banks approved.
as Banks like to say, that's cap.
That is cap.
Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. We don't care what you said. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. Nah, for the bay. We ain't hearing what you say. Nah, for the bay. Fire!